How is it going, people? This is Chris Steinke coming to you live from the garage. I know most of the time when we meet, when we talk, when we're chatting, you probably think I'm sitting up in some trophy office at high on the 20th floor in some bustling city. But no, I'm here. I've got my power tools. I've got my ladder. Normally it's a green screen, but I thought we'd have a treat. You could see how these things really happen. Because today we're going to show you how we really build the flow. And I'm talking about the most important flow that you will ever build. The flow that is going to bring together all the data for your AI agents and allow you to do almost anything with them within ServiceNow. Right now, when we're building AI agents, there's sort of two different things that are going on. There's the prompt, right? And the prompt is all this information, what we're telling the model to do. And then there's the data, the information we're pushing into the prompt. It's incident ticket data or survey data or project data. It's stuff we're pushing into that prompt. Where are we getting it from? Well, you're going to get it from pretty much the same subflow that you will create over and over and over. And again, it is fantastic. It is so easy. Now, this example, I'm going to go through two. You can see here, I've got something around portfolios, right? So in this example, it's a service portfolio management digital portfolio. We're starting at the portfolio level, and then we're trying to get all the projects for that portfolio, right? Details on all the projects for the portfolio. I'll do another example as well because it's so easy to do. I'll do something maybe like incidents where we're trying to get SLA records for the incidents maybe. So first up, we need to create a flow, right? So it's a little bit backwards. When you're creating your prompt, you'll actually create your flow first, I would recommend. Here's an example of one. We'll ignore that one. We'll start from a fresh one here. And again, I want to get projects for portfolios. So get project details for portfolio. I could use Now Assist to generate this, but I'm going to build it on my own. So first off, inputs. Your input is going to be your record, basically, right? So in this case, it's going to be a portfolio record, folio, and we are going to get a sys-ID from the skill kit record, right? So that's your input. Your output is going to be, you can just call it output, you can call it aggregated value, it doesn't matter. The system figures it out and puts it in the right place for you, but we're going to need an output. Next up, we're going to need a flow variable, right? So a flow variable is something we can stick data into as we're going through the processing. And so I make one typically called aggregated response, right? Just like named just like it is. So now we've got our inputs, we've got our flow variables. Now we need to figure out what it's going to do, right? So we want to we want to add an action where we select, where we look up multiple records. Okay, so if you do lookup, you oftentimes will get the singular version. Don't use the singular version. You want to use records lookup when you're trying to do it, and sometimes you might just be sitting there and it's just going to keep loading for a second. Who knows why these things happen. Don't ask questions. There it goes, it's all done. So I'm going to go records look up. You can see I am not a professional. Look up record. See, again, plural, not all right. Hold on. I'm clicking a little fast. Things are happening a little too crazy. Look up records. Come on now. All right, there we go, done. So now the table is where we're trying to get information from. So our table is going to be PM project. There we go, PM project. And our condition, our query, is now that's where we're going to be using our input from our portfolio. Right, so we're looking up what that parent record is going to be. That parent record is going to be the portfolio. And we were going to say the portfolio is our input value. So our subflow input, just like that. And we can order it if we want to. I like ordering it by created, doesn't really matter. Now that's going to look up our project record. So based on the portfolio, find all the projects. Well, what are we going to do with them? Now we need to harvest the data from each of those projects. And so we will do a for each loop, right? So we've just done our lookup. So we say for each one of our project records, we got to do something. And now we are going to write data values into our flow variable. Again, this is preparing all of the data for us to pull into our portfolio project, to pull into our skill. So again, flow logic, and I am going to set flow variable, right? So my flow variable here, see how that works? I put it up there, it's down there, perfect. Now my flow variable, this is important. You're going to want to start it with aggregated response and then put in some checks, and then you're going to want to put in the details from your table. So you're going to put in things like project name, project number, project manager, planned start date, planned end date. You can grab as many fields as you want. Again, your context window is about 15,000 tokens, so you got quite a lot of space here. If you have 1,000 projects, this isn't going to work, but you can put in a lot of information. So you might also want to put in things like risk or justification, whatever those fields are that you might want. Now, for getting status reports or tasks from a project, we would do that in a separate step. But in this one, we're just going to grab our project detail. Now, for each of those field names, I come over here to my handy Flow Designer output, and all that information is just available to me here, and I can easily drag and drop it over there. So again, no code, no needing to really know what you're doing if you're like me. You can just pull the information over. So let me see here. I've got my project. Let's see, our project manager should be in here somewhere. Oh, there's our planned end date. Oops. And again, you just drag these here. So what we're doing is by providing the detail of the lettering, the wording, we're telling it what it is, right? Because the LLM would not know that the particular field is planned end date or planned start date or what have you, unless we're providing that up front. So here's my project name. Here's my project manager. Now, when you're bringing over details, if you're bringing over something like a username that is a reference field, you don't want to bring over the name itself. It won't work. You need to drill down and then bring over the name just like that. And we're back. Sorry about that little disturbance by the 5-year-old who absolutely needed something right now. But that's all sorted, so I'm back. We're continuing to drag and drop over all the different fields that we want, all the information that's available to us. Planned start date and your risk. Again, everything's here. I'm just pulling over a couple because here we are and this is what we're doing, but you can definitely pull over more. You can pull over large text fields by putting this flow variable here first and then going in with these hyphens. That'll create sort of separate records as it goes through. So there, we're done, and all we need to do then is set that flow output. And again, that is just a simple flow action. I'll scroll down here, get flow outputs, assign flow outputs. And here is my output of output, convenient. And I am going to assign that to aggregated response. Going to assign it to aggregated response. There we go. All right. And that's it. That's it. You're done. We've just coded the most important flow that you will ever create related to Gen AI. Again, all we're doing is grabbing data, putting it in a big table, and then we are going to pass it back to our skill kit. I did not make myself unavailable on Teams before joining this session, so I'm getting notifications. I've got kids disturbing me. It's all happening, folks. This is all real life. This is real live coding going on. So now what I want to do is I just want to get an example of a portfolio sysid. I've got that on another screen magically over here. So now I can save my record and let's go ahead and test this. And if this doesn't work, I'll be disappointed, but disappointment's something that we all have to deal with sometimes. Hopefully we'll cross our fingers. This should be good. This should be easy. It's run. We can click down here. Let's look at our flow values. And there we are. There we are. We have got all this fantastic data and information. And all the way that gets used is in your individual skill kit skill, you just link that into tools. You say, here, I want to put in a subflow. And you can select it down here. You can see it's going to be oftentimes one of the first ones that you create. So I could pick this one here. And then it'll go in. And then you're set. And when the LLM runs, oh, sorry, there's one detail. When you are picking it, so mine isn't available yet because I didn't publish it. So hold on, I'll hit publish. You won't see it unless you hit publish. So there's one step now. When I'm connecting that to my skill, I'll just do this again here. So if I'm adding it in here, I'm going to put in my subflow. I'm going to pick my resource. Conveniently, it's always first. Here, you just need to put in the sysid, right? So I've got my portfolio and I've got my sysid. So that's how you connect it. That's what makes it all come together and work. But once you do this, when you execute the skill, it'll execute the flow. The flow will pull in all that data and you'll have it there for processing. So again, very simple, easy example. Let's look at one maybe for incident management tickets. So we can go into our subflow again, and I'm going to create a new subflow. I'll say, let's see, should we get SLA for incident? So in this example, we're going to create a skill related to incident management, incident assignment groups. And we want to find out all of the SLAs that the group has been working on and how they've been doing for maybe the past month, right? So again, my input, think about where you're starting from. We're going to want to have a group record, right? So we'll find all of the SLAs based on that group. My input, again, sysid. My output's output. Over here, I'm creating my flow variables, aggregated response, done. Then I need to do my action, right? And I am going to look up records. Okay, for some reason it doesn't like it when I do it the first time, apparently. Let me try that again. Look up records. So all the work that you're seeing, everything that's being done is done on a Demo Hub instance, which is we call them micro instances. They're smaller. They don't quite have the horsepower of a production instance. Obviously, they don't have the memory or the capacity. So oftentimes we get these kind of little fun things happening, which is always good when you're trying to demo something. And yeah, I'm not quite sure. Here, we'll try it one more time. And then I will just pause the recording for a second. All right, we're back. Okay, so I've refreshed my screen and now I can look up records. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we've got our inputs before we were looking at project portfolios. Now we're looking at incidents and SLAs. So the SLA table is actually called incident underscore SLA. Incident underscore SLA is a join table between the two. So I can put in my conditions here. I'll put in created, which is my incident's going to be created on. Now I'm going to put in last 6 months because this is all test data, right? But you would probably put in maybe last month or something like that. So I'm getting the last month worth of SLAs, and I want to know that the state of the SLA is closed, right? So it's something that's gone, it's completed. If it had an SLA, the SLA record is, again, closed. And the assignment group is my group. Just like that. Okay, that didn't come back again. And when in doubt, always try a second time. There we go. All right. So we got them, right? We've got our SLA records. We're looking them up. We've added a date filter. We're making sure that they're closed. I think this is actually staged now that I think about it. Yeah, again, this is a little messy. We're just doing it live. We're doing it for real. All right. So we want to look at any that are basically, they have to be either achieved, breached, or completed, because we don't want anything in progress. So is one of, and I'm going to say achieved, breached, or completed, right? So that's not going to show us the in progress ones, right? If it's still in progress, we don't care. Now I've got all those values. I'm going to say done. Now again, I need to do my flow logic where I create my for each. So for each record, my incident SLA record that I get, you will remember that then we want to do a set that flow variable for us. Here's our flow variable, aggregated response. We love it. We're bringing it over again. We're using it everywhere. Of course, you can reuse it. It's not going to bleed through your different subflows, so you can just keep using those same variables. But now I'm going to put in my information. So I'm going to say number, which is the incident number. We'll say the incident group. We'll say stage of the SLA has breached. Maybe expired time or something like that, or total time. Again, I'm not spending a lot of time trying to figure out what these fields are because I just want to show it as an example for you today quickly and efficiently. So again, I've got my assignment group, but like I said, you can't bring over a reference field. You need to dot walk down to the name. So I've got my name right there. I'm going to close that back up now. I'm going to look over here. There should be a name somewhere, or a number, sorry. So I'm looking for my SLA number, my incident number, my stage, and has breached. See the EFG has breached. That is true if something is breached. And we can say maybe elapsed time. Is there elapsed time? Duration. Yeah, there we go. Duration. Total duration. All right, so voila, we are now done. What we need to do is just set that output. So we'll assign our Subflow output, which is really easy because again, it's just the aggregated response to the actual output. Like so, aggregated response, which is going to be lovely and full of data values because of all the fun things that we've sent it through our flow. Now, I'm just going to grab a sys of the service desk team, and we will go ahead and test this. So what we will expect to see is a bunch of data values coming out. What we might see is none, because there's just a bunch of test data in here. So I don't even know that the service desk has any SLAs that have triggered from the past 6 months. So we'll see what happens. It might be empty data. It looks like we've got, oh great, so we've got 131 SLA records that it identified, and it created the outputs. So here you can see, again, all this lovely, beautiful SLA information that we can then pass back to a skill. And I'm going to show you how easy that is. I wasn't planning on going this far, folks. I was planning on just showing you this little creation of the flow and not going to the next step and showing you how to do it in a skill. But it is so easy that I have a hard time preventing myself from just jumping in and doing it. So let's look over here. All right, so I'm going to create a skill now using that incident SLA data. All right, so I'm going to create a skill. I'm going to say group SLA review. Provide a summary of how a group has been performing recently on their incident management SLAs. And I will use that description because that's the easy button. That's the big red easy button. Have ServiceNow LLM write your prompt for you. All I have to do is drop in the data, put in the input. Again, so easy. So the group that needs to be analyzed, so I'm going to have my input, right? So my input is going to be a record and is going to be from the assignment group table, which I think is sys user group. Let's see if I'm still... There we go, sys user group, easy peasy. All right, mandatory, our test record is going to be the service desk, just because I assume that they have the most tickets of any team. Add our skill input. All right, skill input's in there. Now we need to add in that tool that we had just created, right? So I come over here, Subflow. When I click the resource, it's It's magic. It always has that as the top entry. I can just bring in my group sysid, and we'll call this get SLAs for group. And we'll add that. So we've got our input, we've got our skills to bring our data into it. Now all we need to do is put it together. So I could look in here and maybe I can edit the inputs and outputs and stuff, but I'm trying to keep this really quick. So we'll do this. So the group we need to analyze, we take our group detail here and the name, put it right there. You don't have to do that. I like to do that. And then the time, so this is going to be the SLA data for analysis is quote, and then insert inputs. And I just grab my SLAs for group. Oh, sorry, I have to grab the output of it. And that's it. We're done. We're done. This might be the fastest LLM technology ever created in the history of LLMs. I'm running my test on it. Again, all the SLA information is being grabbed. It's being put into the file. It's being forwarded over to the SLA. No, sorry, the LLM. And this is the output. Yeah, I'm just constantly amazed at how capable the LLM and these things are of providing detailed information like this. I mean, look at this. This is fantastic. It even pulled out that I would probably want key metrics. So here's my compliant rate. Here's some trends related to my SLAs. How valuable would it be to pull this information together on every group in your organization just in seconds? And that's literally what you can do now. With a couple more clicks, I can add this button to a group. And anyone could go trigger it. Or I could add it to a scheduled job, and I could write this to every group, a field on each group record on a monthly basis. So again, limitless potential, so much you can do. Hopefully you found this as valuable as I do. If you have other ideas for skills or things you'd like to see, let me know. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them or reach out. So thanks again for joining, and have a great rest of your day.